This is Greg Trotwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined by Ulla, Lainio of Business Finland and Vesa, Koivumaa of Wärtsilä to discuss Finnish maritime technology and the opportunities that they see today in the North American markets. I know that both of you have been very active in promoting Finnish maritime technologies in and around North America, but let's start big picture. Can you discuss specifically the opportunities that you see in the region today?
And I can say that the positive picture is seen all over the place. So the big picture is really attractive at the US and Canadian shipyards. They are very busy. They have an order book that goes beyond 15 years at very many places, many shipyards. They are building all types of vessels, ranging from ice-going ships, offshore vessels, offshore service ships, and of course, Navy ships. And now that the United States is aiming to install 30 gigawatts of new offshore wind capacity by 2030, that creates a huge demand on crew and service ships servicing those offshore fields. And also, this year, Finland joined NATO. So Finland is the newest NATO member, and the membership creates lots of new opportunities for collaboration.
Correct. First and foremost, thank you very much. And just following up what Ulla was saying, I think that one of the biggest things is that really the decarbonization is creating this sort of a very transformation in the maritime. We've seen this transformation already in the energy side, and now maritime is going through a change that it hasn't seen in decades. And what is interesting is when we talk about industry as a whole, some of my older colleagues and customers are saying, for decades we've been hoping this kind of change coming in. So this is something that we all are very excited. And I think that in Wärtsilä we see that we are one of the leaders who really are part of this journey of decarbonization and introduction of sustainable future itself, with the alternative fuels, with the hybrid solutions, with the propulsion solutions or systems, as well as anything related to digital, shall we say, the fleet and port optimization. So this is very unique because it happens both in globally and very much in the US and locally, because of course inland waterways, sea to shore, and coastal areas have a little bit different challenges than the shall we say, the blue water operators and owners themselves. So really looking forward this short conversation we have, three of us, and thank you very much.
So, but personally, when I speak about Finnish maritime, the first two topics for me that jump to mind are icebreakers and luxury cruise ships, two very unique market sectors that demand partners with long experience. Can you give us a brief on these two market sectors today, with specific insights on what Finnish Maritime's partners offer to the North American colleagues?
Excellent question. So I start with the icebreaker part of the question. Finnish industry offers ice-proven, tested technology that meets the harshest conditions and technological requirements in polar waters. And that includes design, build, overhauling, and operating full icebreaker fleets. In Finland, we have designed around 80% of all the icebreakers that are in operation today, and we have built about 60% of them at the Finnish shipyards. And Finnish shipyards are able to design and build an icebreaker within 2 years' time, and that is much faster than any other country can do. And Finnish industry is collaborating practically in all icebreaker and ice tanker projects in the world. So when a new vessel is being designed, we design them in Finland, and we also test them in the Finnish icy conditions, inside or outside. Thank you.
And of course, both parts are very much of our DNA. So Greg, I think this is a Very, very good question. So the example I want to show, especially on the shall we say, on the icebreaking and cruise or ferry technology combined together. You probably see during this segment a video about the vessel, Robax vessel called Aurea Botnia. It's near our sustainable technology hub up in Vesa, Finland. It is basically a floating laboratory, and it is a cluster of multiple industry players that are working together. And this is basically a Robax vessel that is ice conditioned. And from our side, it is a great place because we do this exercise and this, shall we say, the laboratory in the live environment where we're getting feedback for our engines, our LNG storage, and supply systems, our thrusters and catalysts. So the whole portfolio is there, but it gives us a capability of testing things and getting that. And one of the things we have recognized, and this vessel has actually multiple awards, it is the most environmentally friendly Robax ferry in the world. So what is a capability for our partners and people we work together, our customers and so forth, even on the academia side, is to come and see our facilities, but at the same time visit the vessel itself and have that knowledge and that shared information. And I think that that's one of the core matters, is that there's always a lot of things for us, the Finnish companies, to learn. So the cooperation between both countries is extremely important because nobody has any more the absolute truth and all the information. It is much more diverse ecosystem that we work with, especially now that the alternative fuels and digital structures are coming in there, and that requires everybody's knowledge.
You know, those are obviously two very well-established markets. So if you don't mind, I'd like to turn attention to an emerging market sector, which is autonomy in the maritime space. How do you see the autonomous trend driving maritime business today? And what specifically are some of the technology offers from Finnish companies?
The Finnish government and the Finnish industry are investing in research and development of maritime autonomy. And Finland is often regarded as the smart maritime pioneer. There are several test beds for autonomous maritime technology testing in Finland. Finland opened the world's first test area for autonomous marine traffic situated off the west coast of Finland, where autonomous vessels and technologies can be tested, and that is a fully open area. It's not indoors or so. And the main developments in Finland at the moment right now are relating to the technology and to a regulatory framework globally. In the technology, the focuses are, for example, in situational awareness, sensor fusion, software, camera systems, camera vision, digital services, electrification, and then of course 5G and 6G connectivity coming in. And in 2018, Finland started the world's first 6G research program, and now we are running a national 6G program called 6G Finland. So this is very interesting. And currently the Finnish companies are focusing their development efforts on digital services very much to improve the observations of the surroundings and development of camera systems, and those systems are very advanced. Thank you.
And I think Ulla covered this very well, correct? But I think that one of the things is that the evolution of autonomy, it was at the beginning, we all were talking about autonomous vessels as a whole itself. The evolution now and development has been in more of the module side. So we're talking about different operations and different processes that are now going to be autonomous, which makes it much more logical because then it becomes much more attainable problem to be solved. And I think that, and we all have seen that this has started more on the sea to shore, inland waterways, and it's building up a little bit larger vessels. But it is steadily growing, and it is especially some of the areas where it's a remote or it's the, shall we say, the conditions are hazardous. It makes sense to use autonomous vessels itself.
On that, as you both know all too well, we talk about all these tech trends, but the defining trend in maritime ports and logistics today is decarbonization and all that it entails, as you had referenced earlier, Vesa. You know, I understand that you recently had a group that was touring U.S. ports and terminals recently. What specific Finland technologies were presented, and can you give an overview, or in overview, can you discuss the opportunities that you see there?
Finland has set a very ambitious national goal to become carbon neutral by 2035, amongst one of the first countries in the world to do that. And also our objective is to start hydrogen industry in our country. So our objective is to build a new industrial sector basing on hydrogen. Our aim is to start producing hydrogen and electric fuels for the transportation sector, for the industry, and for the energy system. And hydrogen can be seen as a very interesting new fuel for shipping and ports. And we have discussed hydrogen almost everywhere where we have visited. And ports in particular are looking at hydrogen and electrification very much across the country, everywhere.
Yeah, adding on that one, I think that, as mentioned already about the decarbonization, one of the areas I would say, of course, the big industry change happen with the shore power coming on the first, and the cruise lines, electrification of the ports themselves. Of course, for us in Wärtsilä, we have always seen that our capability is to provide the customers the technology that what they need, because we know that when it comes to this sort of the alternative fuel environment, there is not going to be any more of a single fuel offering. So it's going to be a regional. It could be shall we say the inland waterways will require different fuels and have a different fuels available than the ocean-going vessels. So it's as I say, the transformation is significant in both in maritime and in the port industry itself. And I think that one of the interesting part of these delegations, as we've been part of it and talking, is that there's a lot of solutions that are at the sea. There's a lot of solutions at the port themselves. But when you look at the, let's say, on the supply chain, and what we learned during the COVID period is, if you do not have the supply chain and every piece of the supply chain communicating to themselves, it doesn't matter how efficient a single module is. So one of the areas, and we already spoke in Wärtsilä about this before even the COVID, was that the ports, really our vision is that the ports operate like the airports, just in time. You have a connectivity. One of the significant parts of that is that what you are able to do with this is you create the three arrows that are all going the same direction. You provide efficiency, because you are now arriving on time, so you can load steam. It is safe, because you remove the congestion and all the chaos from the ports and arriving at the ports and so forth. But also it is environmentally friendly, as you save the fuels, as you have less time of anchoring or drifting on the coastlines and so forth. So you avoid these things, and I think that the opportunities are there. And once again, it goes back to this cooperation and talking among ourselves. And one thing I would say, you mentioned about the cruise industry, one thing that really people don't recognize is that during the COVID, cruise industry might have been quite idle on the vessel side. But on the technology side, the strides that we have done and our partners and our customers have done on the decarbonization has been significant on that side. So it's really exciting now that we actually can meet each other in person to see how much we have advanced. Of course, there's a lot of work to do, but when you solve these problems module by module and working together, I think that we have done so much of good work.
I understand just before the summer break that you coordinated a Finnish industry tour to US and Canadian shipyards, where, of course, there are many interesting projects today. Before we sign off, can you discuss the key takeaways from that trek?
Yes, we have really conducted, in fact, several tours and visits to both shipyards and ports across the United States and Canada this year and last year. And we have visited the busiest container ports and the largest shipyards, mainly who are focusing on larger projects. And I can tell that the container ports on both west and east coast, they are all expanding their delivery, I mean their capacity and throughput. And at the same time, the shipyards are busier than ever. So they see collaboration now nationwide on the SME sector where they haven't been earlier. And they are hiring a lot of new workforce and making investments. So they are investing in manufacturing equipment, automation, welding, robotics, and all that is required to boost efficiency. And like I said, electrification and new fuels, they are discussed in every meeting wherever we go. They are so topical these days.
Adding on Ulla's comment is that it's for, of course, Wärtsilä, we've been in the US market since 1979. So a lot of this is re-engaging with old friends and colleagues and really continuing a conversation. But also there's a lot of changes that has happened during COVID and post-COVID environment itself. So it's good to catch up and be aware. But I would say at the moment, the hottest topic, of course, is the alternative fuels. What fuel is available, what supply chain is available itself. But also, I think that we are still in maritime trying to figure out what part of digitalization really is the one that provides the return on investment. I mean, there is a lot of technology that it's very interesting, it's fascinating, but of course, the environment that the shipyards and their customers work is really it's quite challenging, and therefore, really the return on investment is a significant part of that. So really, it's nice to catch up. I think it also opens opportunities, co-creation, sitting down and saying, "Hey, hold on a second, have you thought about this?" And it's although this virtual environment is very nice, but in person somehow the creativity goes even to the next level. So it was great, and of course this is an industry where both parties know each other. So it was almost like diving into familiar waters and having that deep conversation, catching up some of the old stuff, but really talking about what the future look like. And I think the future is very, very promising over here in the US market.